Everyone, it's Miss Angelique, Truth and Integrity Warrior. It is October 29th, and I want to try something new. I want to do some video shorts here on YouTube so I can just give out a little bit of information instead of big old long videos that sometimes people don't have time to watch. So I had a subscriber named Benjamin ask me for some advice on love, and I thought making a video would be the best. That way I'm not just helping one person, I see if it can help anybody else. And so, because these are short videos, I'm just going to get right to the point. His question was, I make the mistake of going back to girls when they treat me badly. I want to love her so badly. She is all alone. I really do love her. So, I understand what that's like. I understand how that feels. And many of you out there also do. You're either on the side where you don't give love, and you don't want to show love because you don't want to get hurt, or you give too much love where you're empty and you don't have any love left for yourself. You're absolutely tapped out. And so both are cases of people looking for love and they cannot meet in the middle. They can never meet in the middle because what's lacking is self-love. So that self-love is that individual love. And we all can say we have self-love because we give a shit about ourselves, but that's not the same thing. And so it's understanding, how does this self-love work? How do we do this? How do we apply this action to our lives, to ourselves? So to have self-love and recognize, hey, I need to love who I am, that shit ain't easy. You don't just, okay, I love myself, and then the same thing keeps happening. You know, the same problem about trying to love somebody or pushing somebody back because you're afraid to love will always continue to happen. So this is how it works. Is the reason we are looking for people who are hurt when we love them, you know, in this case, answering this question is, why do I go back, making the mistake of going to see, or go back with a girl or girls in general who treat them badly, right? And so this is my personal experience, is I recognized that the person that was treating me badly, and this a lot of my relationships, not just one in particular, a lot of my relationships, is what's happening is we want the love that we missed when we were a child. And so that's inside of our subconscious. And our subconscious is feeding our right now, our today, until we recognize our files there and move it. And then we can see it happening in our lives, and then we can stop it and then create a boundary. And then that boundary is, I can only give you 5% of my love if you're giving me 5% of your love. Right? If you give me 1%, I can only give you 1%. I was given 200%. You know, I was giving 200% and I wasn't getting nothing back. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna give 300%. You know, I was fucking getting loans out on love type of thing. I was fucking tapped. And so what's happening here in this dynamic is, those who push love away is because they didn't get love, and they're afraid to, that the little love that they did get when they got hurt, they were so afraid to ever be hurt again that they stopped giving love. You know, and usually that comes from, again, childhood, not knowing how to be loved. Children are not loved correctly, where they will then look for someone else who will be that mother or that father figure of our childhood, believe it or not. And so it's not that we're always looking for the bad guy or the bad girl, is that we had a bad life in our childhood and we want the love of mommy and daddy, and this is fucking for real. We need that nurturing fucking care for me. Somebody fucking love me. Somebody do the right fucking thing. You know, we don't say that when we're little kids, but we're just like, they're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on in our world. And as parents, we do the best that we fucking can, but usually we got the same fucking problem from when we were kids, you know, and the fucking cycle just keeps going on and on and on. And so to bring it home is, for this question is, we look for those who, we're going off of our subconscious. And so our subconscious is looking and seeking out who reminds me of my mother's lack of love. Who reminds me of my father's lack of love? Who out there is going to give me and fill that fucking need of the parental love? So when we recognize that, oh, that motherfucker reminds me of my mom. And I'll tell you one of my experiences. I was dating somebody before I met David, right before I met David, and this guy loved me down so well. behind closed doors, but would not tell anybody he was with me. Would not want to be seen out in town with me. I live in a little town, right? But he didn't want anybody to know that he was with me, and that gave me so much rejection. But I kept going back for the sex or for what? But I kept going back until I recognized, why do I feel like I need to go back to this motherfucker? Why? What's my fucking problem? What do I got to fix in me? And it was, I recognized, like, who does this person fucking remind me of? And it brought it down to, okay, when I was a kid, what, who, where, when? My mom. My mom wasn't around. I didn't get love. And this guy is not giving me love. He's not expressing love in public. So there's no expression of love from this man, right? And now I'm recognizing I had no expression of love from a mom because I was dropped off and lived with multiple family members. I never had a house or growing up as a kid memories, right? Of that affection, that come here, that I love you, that bonding. There was no bonding, right? This guy didn't want to bond with me in public. And so I was like, there it is, there's the connection. I want the longing of my mother's care and love and affection, and I didn't get it as a kid. My subconscious is running off of it. So I'm gonna go find the next motherfucker who can remind me of it, because I need that whole field. So when I caught it, I was like, there it is right there. It's my subconscious. So I recognized the file, meaning I pulled out that information by bringing it to the forefront of my mind, because once you recognize it, it's like pulling a file. Like, I recognize it, I see it. Now, when I see this guy again, I don't feel the same way. My feeling changed. Now I look at him like somebody who's fucked up and had a fucked up childhood, and he got to fix his shit. Because I can only fix mine, you know? And so then, once I got to that point, then I was able to break away from this person, met David, and that was a whole nother fucking story. Why did I give so much to David knowing I wasn't giving anything back? It's because I might have recognized what I just told you about needing that, but I was out there because I'm going to help this person. You know, it's not about me, it's about, I want to help this person, David. I want to save this motherfucker's life, right? So it's in the question right there. They're all alone. I want to save them. It's that self-saving. Is I got to fucking save myself. As a kid, that's the feedback we're getting. And so when we see somebody who reminds us of what we're supposed to take care of inside, that's the mirror. That's really what we're looking at. So when we see somebody in that need, it's like, oh shit, I needed that when I was a kid. And that's what I'm feeding off of. That this is my feedback. And this is what my soul is telling me I gotta work on for myself. And so when we set boundaries, and that's what I had to learn with David, I had to learn, what is a healthy boundary? What the fuck does that mean if it's invisible? I can't put up no fence and no gate, right? Can't put up nothing physical. I want to go touch this motherfucker, but at the same time, I got to do that self-love, that shit. The more I pull out of these subconscious memories and thought, and I'm making physical contact and location, or identification, I should say, I can now identify where that subconscious and my action is connected. Boom, get rid of that file. Just literally like, okay, so now my thinking, when I see those people, or I see something that reminds me of that, my emotion has now changed. So now in my emotion, meaning in my heart space, well, it's a real field, right? It's a real magnetic field. Now, I'm not going to have the same tendencies, but let me tell you, we got a whole lot of layers of shit to fix. And so David just went in deeper. When I got a relationship with David, it was just deeper. He got in so deep that I had layers I didn't know I had. And so creating these boundaries after this whole experience with David, I understood what healthy boundaries meant. Meaning, David, now I can see you for where you're at. I see where you're stuck because I'm unsticking myself. I can only work on myself. And so as I get myself stuck and start pulling out of these memory files, remember, you don't have to go live a whole tragedy to recognize and connect a file of information of a moment or a situation or circumstances to say, I'm behaving like this because of that. And then it becomes your awareness, meaning now it's on the screen, it's on the big screen, it's not in a file, in a junk file somewhere, fucking shit up in operations like it does in our computer. Now it's brought to the forefront, now we can clear it. And now if we see it again, move it. Can't accept something like that again in our lives, right? Because we now start fixing ourselves. And so that's self-love. So self-love might not be the right word, it's self-organization. We gotta start doing some self-organization. Love's just connected to it. And it's not that love is painful. Love's not painful. The lack of love is fucking painful. That we don't have love, that's what's fucking painful. And that's what we're feeding off of. We don't feel love. We want to fucking just feel love. So we don't have that internal, I care about myself. What we're told, right? We're told, I don't care about myself. But it's like, wait, I do fucking care about myself. Why am I told I don't? Why do I gotta make self-love? It's self-organization. So self-organization of our subconscious to what's happening in our reality. And so with a little guidance, we're able to make those connections, relative connections of what's happened to me as a child, just so that I can remember just long enough so I can make a connection to who this motherfucker reminds me of. Because it's a self-reflection. And every time we do that self-reflection, that reflection in the mirror, it's like, that's me. That's my problem. That's something I gotta fix. And when we do that, we start getting organized. And then that strength starts coming up. And that development in the self starts. So it's a reorganization of how we understand what the lack of love actually does. Because this is a lack of love. It's not because love hurts. It's a lack of love hurts. So going back to creating these healthy boundaries is I can only give now you what you give me until you can help yourself be able to give more to me so I can give more of myself to you. And so as a couple, this is what I recommend for Benjamin, is take this information, take this advice, and start working together on the same information so you can be on the same page and you guys can get to the same goal and unite. Because that's what we want. If we're just working as an individual, you'll be like me and David. I'm just working on me, and David's working on him, but the uniting is not working. And why is the uniting not working? Because we're not working on the same page with the same information, trying to get to the same development. We're on two different development levels. And so working together on a common goal, even though they're different polarities. Benjamin's gives too much love, where he's tapped out and can't take it, and his significant other or the person that he loves, a woman that he loves, takes and demands from what he was explaining to me, and he keeps giving. So that's the David and me effect, and creating those boundaries together, because this person needs to know that they have to have boundaries, that they can't fucking overstep and take from people. If they want something, they gotta give. And what they give, they're now going to receive that same amount from the other person. So we got to find that balance, that give and take. You give me 100%, I'm going to give you 100%. You give me 1%, I'm going to give you 1%. It's balanced. And in that time that maybe the other is not figuring it out, you have more time for self-development, self-awareness. We're going to put a link on the bottom of a really good free courses. They're little mini 30 minutes, 40 minutes of mind awareness of behaviors with psychology in a really simple way that I liked. And it doesn't make you feel like there's something wrong with you. It's just a fucking reorganization. We just got to reorganize. And it comes from a professional background. I express things differently. This is how I express my experiences to you through this journey through love, and how we're going to get it back. How are we going to get it back so that we have love to be able to give to the next? This is Michelle Angelique, Truth and Integrity Warrior. Peace out.